Hello, 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 hello. Welcome for another episode of Author Spotlight. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palmer, Chief Book Officer with Self Publishing 30 Days. And I get the honor and the privilege to go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from around the globe. Today, we got my girl Shree in the building. Say hello to the people, Shree.
What's up? Hello, hello.
Man, we glad to have you on. For those who are tuned in, you know how we do it on this show. You can have time to read the bio, to go through all the information. We're not going to go through all that because it's in the show notes. But if you don't mind, Sri, share with the people some things that might not be in your bio that will be interesting about you.
One thing is, I have an 18-year-old daughter. Nobody believes that. And then I'm about to hit 100 lives on June 1st. You heard that right. 100 IG lives, and that's a whole ball game.
Man.
And something else that's not in my bio that people will get surprised. Well, they can tell too, but I love working out.
Mm. We got a workout fanatic in the building. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know,
It is.
health is well. Health is well. So, with that being said, Sri, if you don't mind, talk to us about your book. You know, I was able to talk to you offline about it, but why did you go the co-author route? Why did you go on that journey?
So one of my guests, Nolan Davis, he approached me after I had interviewed him. To cut the chase, it first started with my girl, Amira, and then she introduced me to Nolan. I've interviewed both. Nolan came up to both of us and said, hey, this is an opportunity for you to be a published author. If you go down this route, it's just a stepping stone. I was like, okay. We did a little bit of research. We said, okay, let's do it. Let's go through, whatever happens, the good, bad, the ugly, we're going to do it. And there we are. I mean, to be honest, nobody said you should be an author by yourself. No, I didn't go and I didn't know Darren to say, hey, what should I do? I didn't do a lot of research. All I just was like, oh my God, this is an opportunity. Let me go for it. And I'm going to learn, even if I fall on my face. This is one of the reasons why I love working out, is how many times have you worked out and you wanted to quit, but then you just kept going and then you started to see the results. So it's the same thing that I put into the thought of the book. I said, what's going to happen? I'm going to learn what not to do, and I'm going to learn what to do.
You know what? I think you brought up a interesting point when you bring that up. I think the consistency and being able to persevere is no matter who's listening to this right now. It might be you being furloughed. It might be looking at starting a new opportunity. It might be a side hustle. It might be starting all over in a new relationship, whatever that may be. But you can't live life off of past experiences alone. You have to be willing to get up, try something new. You never walked before until you walk. You never crawled before until you crawl. These are things that you got to make sure that you keep in mind when you're experiencing life. Keep having that childlike faith to experience and do something new. I don't know what it is about a lot of adults. They get to a certain point at like, oh, like they got an aha moment or epiphany, Sheree, that wow, I've never done that before, so I can't do it. I'm thinking like everything that you've done was the first time that you've done it, until this particular point in your life. And can you speak to that about we see you at the 100 podcast and the 100 IG live coming up. We see you in parenting. It's a common denominator that you are willing to stick it out. We see it with working out. Can you speak to someone who's having a challenge with that? Where did you get that? Where did the dexterity come? Did you scrape yourself up before you found out that you need to continue to move forward? What was that trigger that made you see things to the end and keep going and learn through the process?
I think I will use something that I learned in church, and that is we all have a calling on our lives. And if you just remember that, that's powerful. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're seeing, I've had numerous of experiences, traumatic experiences, lost my brother, the father of my child, he passed away. Just, it's like, okay, all of these are happening. These are experiences. This is a challenge. This is what am I learning from it? What is God trying to show me? What is it that I'm not learning from? What is it that I need to keep doing? And regardless, I always knew something better is out there. Then it turned into, okay, I know that my life is not about just myself. It's about making a dent for others. So I stopped thinking about me and I started thinking about, okay, if I do this, this is how this is affected. You know, my daughter is the nearest person to me. Although I don't know how she figured it out, but she figured out doing 1% better everyday compounds. And now she's graduating with honors. But all she saw was just me picking myself up, me seeing, okay, she saw me at my lowest and she see me at my highest. And so sometimes you have to recognize, like, people won't say something to you, but they're watching you. There is greatness in you. So don't forget that. And just remember, you have a calling on your life.
Woo, girl, I'm telling you, that's good like Campbell soup over there. You taking me there. You taking me there, girl. You're taking me there. But I like the takeaway of what you shared um, with your daughter and her being able to watch you. And for those who are tuned into this episode, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for those who are watching you. Do it for those who you don't even know who's paying attention to you. You don't know by you getting up is helping someone else go back and get their GED. You don't know someone else who's thinking and contemplating committing suicide, but you gave them a spark of hope by looking at your life. That person who's dealing with a child right now, and they're thinking, how am I going to help this? I'm a woman, and how am I going to help my boys become men and I don't have somebody in their life? Or how can I do this and I'm a grandparent? Or how am I as I was a child and it's difficult to see my parents at this stage. And now I'm the actual parent now, it seems like it, because I'm taking care of them, carrying them to the doctors. I've always saw my mom or dad or grandparents so strong. And now all of a sudden, it's like I'm dealing with a child. How do I handle these strains in my life? So I think that what Sri is sharing with us is very imperative that we take heed to that, grab it by the horns, forget the Southern analogies, the Texas analogies, grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. And we must be able to ride, even though it's an opportunity or a chance, so to speak, where we can get bucked off. If you keep getting back up, willing to ride, learn from the things that you've been through, it's legacy. Now, more is caught than taught. So yeah, Shreet has been telling her daughter so many things, telling her ways to improve. But that young lady was able to figure it out. She was able to say, no, 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 mom. I'm able to see things that you're not telling me. I'm able to see things that they're not just teaching in school. So I want those who are business owners, those who might be authors. If it's your first time creating content, don't think that you are writing to that English teacher or that professor that you did had in British Lit. Remember, there are resources, there are people around you. Get started. You'll figure the rest out along the way. Would you agree with that, Sheree?
I would. If you if you watched my first live is what I did was I had already watched, it was LinkedIn. They had a series, it was a tutorial on how to do a, like if you wanted to do a series on using a video camera, proper lighting. I just had the basics. So my first IG live, I had my phone, a hair tie, and a globe. Like, this was holding my phone and it was propped up against a jewelry box. And that's just what I did. And I made that work. And then somebody was like, hey, I will gift you with the light ring just because I believe in you and I know you can go further. So after that, I had a light ring and I was able to understand, like, this background. Well, you guys can't see the background, but it's an evolution. Like, I used to have, the background is still there, but I just change it out. And I have brought in my family. So now they tell me, like, okay, this is what we're going to use for the background for the month. And then you have my daughter who's like, okay, this is how you should be asking questions. It should be juicy. It should get to the person, like really bring out that in them, because that's what's going to connect to your viewers, even you who are listening. Like, you're like, oh, wow. I heard her in the background. She's like, oh, wow. But just to say, like, at first you do it, okay, you make mistakes. I've misspelled so many words, even to this day, but I still keep going. If you look at my infographics on my IG page, they're not the greatest, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to connect. I'm willing to be humble enough to say, okay, how can I make this better? How can I, who should I be following? Who should I be getting this information to help me get better? Let me apply it. Before I know it, it will get better. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but sometimes we get stuck in that, oh, it has to happen today. I put a business, I have a website, and now everybody's going to find me. It doesn't happen like that. You gotta put yourself out there. Even to this day, I don't have a billion followers, but I have a really strong network like Darren, and I have others who back me up. Like when I'm having a bad day, I can be like, Darren, so how do you get through this? And he just says, this is what I do. Or I could just read it, just read one of his posts, and I just am like, wow, okay, I can do this. So sometimes you don't realize it, that in your pain that you have strength, or in your frustration, there's so much that you can learn from. Because like I said, you have to step outside yourself, and you have to realize, like, what is it, the lessons? What are the lessons? I mean, I can tell you, after 99, about 99 lives later, that's always the number one thing that people say. It's realizing that you got to step back. You got to just look at it, not from the inside, but from the outside. Then you realize, oh, this is what I got to do.
Shree, when I hear you share the details of this and being able to move forward, to me, what you're sharing with our audience is life. I mean, that's the great part of life. Being willing to learn, being willing to try something new. It's not a guarantee that it's going to work every time, but that's called living. That's living. So many people are existing, but they're not living. They haven't actually acted on an idea in years. Some have even given up the idea component of their brain. So when you look at that, they're just existing. They're just walking around or whatnot, and they're not having the life that they are supposed to have, which is the abundant life, because it's not just saying that it's going to be millions, not knocking that. It's not just saying that everything is going to be perfect. That's not what it's about. It's about the experience of knowing I tried something new today, or I can be excited about something. The good old H word, hope. I got hope. I got excitement about something. Now look at it. I'm just looking at you, and I want to dive into this because I think it's very important part of your story of the IG live. So yeah, we're celebrating that we did the round of applause when it comes. We're looking at the 100th episode, the queen of IG live. That's it. That's it. My girl is in the building. But when we look at that, you had to do the first one. Yeah, before we get to the 100th, you had to start with the first one. You had to get over. And so some say, well, Darren, where are you going with this? You had to get over, who am I to do the live? I don't know how to do the live. Well, why would I do the live? Same thing with writing a book. Why would people listen in? Who would even come on? Am I going to just do this by myself? You know how we do it? Can I find a friend or someone to do it? Well, I don't have the right backdrop. I don't have the right lighting. Ooh, that must cost thousands of dollars because, some of those big name people, they do this kind of stuff and I don't have what they have. So to have the mental fortitude to start an IG live and also to develop and cultivate it to where it is now, Sheree, I think is phenomenal. So if you don't mind, let's go back. Let's go back. I know you big balling and shout calling now. I know you on the 100th. I know, for the little people like us who's listening in, for my girl, who's setting the trends. But take us back though to before it was the 100th episode. What made you start it and what made you keep going especially without having the momentum that you have right now?
Well, first off, I want to say I'm trying to catch up to Darren. He's over here, CEO, has a author, like all of this that's going on, publishing company. He's got Darren K, come on, Coach K, and I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm happy that I got who I got. So, by the way, so here's the story of how the lives came. 2 years ago, when I started my business, it was, hey, you need to have testimonials. And it was placed on my heart, hear their journey. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask questions because I'm really good at asking questions. I'm like, okay, so how do I do this? And then I saw my friend doing the IG lives, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can start bringing on guests just like she is. And I asked her a few questions. I even asked her, and she said no. I asked 9 other people. Oh, see, yeah, 9 other, including herself. They all said no. Even Coach Darren said no. It's okay. Much love. But
Oh, for the record, it wasn't this Coach Darren that said it.
yeah,
See,
I didn't know this.
yeah.
This
So
is the one
you
said
got to
yes, not
clarify.
me.
Yeah, because some people I coach, so they think like, oh, Darren said no, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's another Darren, but he's good people though. He's good people.
He's really good people. I love his content. They all said no, and I said okay. Then there was a girl. Her name is, she goes by I Dream of Dea, and her and I had built a relationship, and she said yes. And so that was my first sign, like, oh, if I'm going to bring on a guest, I need to have a relationship. Okay, no biggie. She said yes, and that was it. So I used that to my leverage relationships. And even though in my first 9, there were a few friends, it was after that, it was, people that I didn't know, even a guy that just happened to watch my story, who his name at that time, he was like huge to me, Alexander Live. And I was like, okay, this dude just may not say, he had like 60,000 or something like that followers. It was a crazy amount of number for me. And he said yes. And so we went live. So I'm just saying, like, you never know. And I've had guests who have booked with me 1 hour before cancel on me. I've had guests who have led me on only to say no. I've had guests who are like, well, I forgot about this. And so I planned another day, can we do another day? And I'm like, I take it seriously. Will they come back on my life? I don't know, but that's okay, because I always think this, just because they said no today or they don't think highly about you today, I guarantee you when you are at a place where they're like, oh my God, I want to be where she's at, they're going to come knocking. They're going to come find you. They're going to be like, hey, you remember when you wanted to interview me? Is that still possible? And the person that I am, I'm not going to sit back and be like, remember when you did this to me? No, I'm going to, it's a little bit different. And I'm going to say, I would love to. And this is a process. And if you decide that you want to do this, let's do it. If not, the door is there.
So classy, so classy, so classy. The queen of IG Live herself, y'all. Shree in the building. So when I hear that, I also want those to listen to this, who's listening to this, to get this. What I'm getting out of what Shree's sharing with us is the importance of knowing your worth and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait for others to validate you. It's like the Field of Dreams, the old school movie Field of Dreams. Y'all go look that up, boys and girls. If you build it, they will come. That's what you got to keep in mind. If you build it, they will come. But you can't build it if you're waiting on others to validate you before you build something. And I'm going to share something else for those who are listening. This is another point. It's some things, and I just want to put this out here, full disclaimer. This is not trying to, I'm just helping you have a paradigm shift right now. It's not Darren trying to act big time and all that. But when you continue to move and grow, what you view and see, your perception is your reality. So what you see as an employee you won't understand like an employer. You think you know as an employee, but you really have no clue. You just think because you're doing your particular job at your particular part in your cubicle, you got it all figured out, but you really don't understand how everything works. And you can't even go by your upper management all the time because they typically don't know what's going on. But for the whole company to run, it's some things that's working out that you just don't understand. Like it was hard for me to believe back in the day that people would put on news, oh, um, they had these business owners saying that they're trying to hire, they can't find anybody to hire. Then in my mind at that time, because I was thinking like an employee, I'm looking at the news and saying, well, man, it's millions of people saying they don't have a job. So how in the world that somebody lying? Like these people need to stop lying until you get on the other side and you see just like what Sheree brought up, just like those interviews, people counseling, hour, 30 minutes, out. Some don't even no call, no show. I've shown up on something, there's nobody even there but me. You tell them, oh man, I forgot. Or they don't even respond to the next day or whatnot, or don't show up at all. You know, I had one person cancel multiple times. It's like, dude, why we got to go through this? Either you want to do the show or not. Like, it's not that serious. But why I'm bringing that up to fast forward that is, when you continue to build it and they will come, what you'll find out is the respect for time and how things are done. And some things you don't know that you're doing that you don't have a clue of, that with somebody who's more established, they looking at it differently. So it's just like with Shree later on, she's doing things, it's not being funny, but as she's improving, she got people that want to be on the show. So why would she be allocating so much time running people down who don't want to be a part of the show? And she has activities, income generating activities that she would need to take care of, that her fiduciary responsibility is to herself, her to God, herself, and to her daughter and the rest of her family. So she might not tell you that she got something to do with her daughter or she's going to visit her daughter, but she don't have to tell you that because she's built it. So if you want to get in line with someone, then you have to understand that Shree has built something here. So somebody else who just showed up, haven't even did one show, or haven't even did one live, but every time you look at them, hey Shree, can I want, I want to talk to you a little bit. Can I get some information from you real quick? Okay, you might give a few nuggets, but if you see that that person's not implementing anything, they're randomly showing up in your DM when it's convenient, or if they see other people talking about an interview that she did, now when it's relevant, they want everybody to know that they know her, then they reach out. So I'm giving you all just that understanding of how to carry yourself, because you can miss out on opportunities just because you don't know what you don't know. But for one thing, take away as we move forward with Shree on this particular interview, she didn't stop. She didn't allow waiting on validation from others to deter her from moving forward with her dreams and goals and continue to learn. Now, I want to hear this, Shree. What does it mean, all that you've come through? And I know this is just the beginning. This is not the end. So this is not a farewell tour, but what does it mean to you knowing that you beat the odds, that you kept going, that you kept learning, that you have improved? What does that mean to you? Not everybody else. What does that mean to you?
It means, to me, it means that, it's, if I can work out and I can get to here, even after, even the weights that I lift, being able to help my dad because he has dementia. Sometimes it's hard for him to get up. And here I am able to pick him up and all his 140 pounds or 45 pounds. I just lift him like it's nothing. It just taught me like everything that I'm doing, I don't see the bigger picture. I don't know the bigger picture, but I know it's going to help me for that bigger picture, whatever it is that God has in store for me. So sometimes things don't pan out. I've learned just like, okay, it's not about me. Sometimes, like you said, Darren, like people don't realize or respect what's in front of them. Maybe they don't respect themselves. It has nothing to do with you. just remember, and I have to keep telling myself that it's not about me, even though I'm here and people are coming out of the woodworks. Like, I remember somebody telling me people are going to be coming to be live with you. And I was like, I don't know. And I'm telling you, from all over the world, people are asking. And even then, I'm still humbled. I'm like, you want to go live with me? Like, you could have gone live with anybody, but you want to go live with me? Like, I'll never take that for granted. Somebody thinks that they see something in me and they want to be spending their time with me. That's big. That's huge. And now the only thing I can do in return is make sure that I respect their time and respect them. So going back to your point, it's all about for what I've learned through all my life, and especially these 100 lives, is just every day wake up blessed. I'm blessed for this opportunity. I'm blessed for this day. I'm blessed that Darren, I still wonder to this day how this man found me. I don't know, but it's all the people that are connected, that are being I'm attracting, is because each live, when I look back, is a journey of my own personal life, of where I was in my growth and what I thought. When I first started the lives, I was super, super scared. Like, oh my God, what are people going to think about me? What value can I bring? Now I'm facing that, saying, wow, I do have value. I'm still discovering it, but I'm a lot better. And then here, a year from now, it's going to be something else. So each live, you will, if you ever catch it, you will see that the beginning, I was super nervous. And you see the lives today, they're a lot different. But that's because I got comfortable with me, not the guest. I got comfortable with myself. And I started to realize, hey, this person that's in front of you, Shri, she has something special. And because I see something special in the person that I bring on, and I try to pull that out and show that to the world, because they moved my life. They moved me. I want to show that to the rest of the world. And I have to remember, I have that too. I have that capability.
That's what I love about you, Shree. You just really just a genuine great person. And what you all are hearing on this episode is just who she is. And I think she brought up a great point too of the attracting. Um, you know, you attract who you are. So if it's a hot mess, then you a hot mess. There's no pun intended, but it is what it is. So you attract who you are. And so that's the why people are being attracted to it, because it's the inner work. She has become a better person. She is more loving. She is more caring. She's giving opportunities. She's not taking people for granted. She's not feeling entitled. She's willing to go build it. So guess what happens? She started attracting people with that same ideology, with the same thought patterns, with the same sense of love, the same way of looking at how can I make a positive impact across the globe. That's what you start attracting. That's who your tribe is. So, Shri, it's been a pleasure having you on. By the way, I want to tell everybody, full transparency, I haven't been invited to come on the live yet, So, but I'm just gonna say, I haven't been able to get in. When you get to 100 plus, even me. See, I told y'all. See how people told her back in the day. Now, Darren hadn't even been invited on as a guest, but we're gonna talk about that off air, how she do me, But anyway, now I'm excited for you, Queen. I love what you're doing, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because I just love the start mentality. The start, I think we might need to use that for a book. But yeah, that's a good title. That start mentality. It's so many people that's ensnared by their own fears. They might have the ideas, but they'll let them pass by. And the other thing I love about you, Shri, is that you don't have to have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out, So it's like some people won't make a move because they got in their mind of the one or two people they've heard on Shark Tank or on some other show that they had 20 years worth of plans. So they think, no, I'm doing a disservice to myself and everybody else if I take one step, I don't have it all figured out yet. I couldn't possibly do that. You got to do what you need to do. I look at with me being on this show with you right now and having this show, it all stemmed from an idea. I didn't envision doing a publishing company at the time. It was somebody else that saw something in me that I didn't see in me, and I passed it on to other people. So I didn't have a long plan. I didn't have all that lined out, but I didn't know it was going to manifest to all the shows and all that. So I aligned with you because that's what I did too. I went through the first door. I took the first step. And then as I continued to learn, continue to grow, continue to get around amazing human beings like yourself, Sri, that it has morphed into what it is now. And it's something that's surreal just seeing what's happening with people across the globe. But if I wouldn't have taken the first step, I wouldn't be here with you. I wouldn't be celebrating the 100th episode, your 100th live. I wouldn't be able to celebrate knowing that your daughter is graduating. I wouldn't be able to have that moment here with you on this episode if neither one of us would have started. If we waited till we had it all figured out, we would have never started. So if you could speak to someone, Sri, out there who's like, I hear what you're saying. I'm identifying, I'm feeling you, girl, but they're straddling the fence. They know it's something they should do, whether it's write that book or start that show or start that podcast, whatever it may be, or start that business or, go up in their job or whatnot, but they won't do it because they feel like they're not enough or they don't have it all figured out. What would you say to them, Sri?
I would just say this because I remember when I first heard it, and that is your story is you're one story away of someone's breakthrough. So just you talking about it, just you, because look, Darren, you took that step. You showed it to your kids that anything is possible. Don't let Darren sit here and fool you. He took a step. I mean, he was scared too. Don't let that man tell you that he wasn't scared. He was super scared because what if he fails? But he didn't. We all fail. We fail forward. That's it. That's part of the game. Actually, I enjoy failing because I know it shows me what I got to do. So if you're sitting there scared that your story is going to be, nobody wants to listen, let me tell you something. My brother was murdered. I found him on the ground, lying down. I've had 2 abusive relationships. I've been raped. I've been situations where I had no money, But the thing is that these are things that help me to keep moving forward. I volunteer with kids who are in Juvenile Detention Center. They're in Children's Protective Services. I just share me. And that's enough to show them like, okay, if this lady here has had all this happen to her and she's still moving forward, then I know I can do whatever is going through my life. I know I can do it. And you got to stop thinking that your life doesn't. Your story means something. That you just going in and go into a restaurant, something small, order something or order a large smile. Do you know that can turn somebody's day around? You know how many times I used to do that when I did food, when I used to work for Uber, delivering food to people. I would always order I was in a bad place in my mind. All I started doing was ordering large smiles. I would walk into the restaurant and I'd be like, how are you doing? And I'll never forget, I turned some girl's day all the way around to the point when I walked into that restaurant, her manager was like, you're the girl that I've been waiting to meet because you're the reason why my employee is having a better day. And all I said on the phone was, I want to order a large smile.
Girl, I'm telling you, that's a bomb. Now I'm gonna have to use that. I'm gonna give you credit the first 3 times, then the next time is mine. I'm telling you that. No, that's awesome.
Just use it. Don't even give me credit. Just use it. You will feel better. Darren, I guarantee you, I challenge you. The next time you have a bad day and you go somewhere, just order a large smile and see what happens. I promise you, you'll walk away from a different man.
Wow, that is awesome. That is blessed. Man, you done blessed my soul today. If you don't mind, Shree, how can they connect with you if they want to catch the lives? What's your social media? What's your IG handle? How can they connect with you?
So you can connect with me if you're on LinkedIn, which is my first name, SRI, my last name, MAHABIR. If you are on Instagram, it is NEXLEV consulting underscore SRI. I know it's a lot, but hopefully Darren has put it in the bio so you can come find me. And I'm also on Facebook under my name, Shree Mahabir. And if you just DM me, I would love to talk to you. Trust me, I promise I'll get back to you.
Hey, well, we're excited to have you on today. And like I said, you have blessed a soul. Hey, man, I know y'all should have got something out of this particular episode because I know I did. I know if anybody else did, I'm going to be selfish on this particular episode because I'm taking, I don't know if you all are going to start with where you are or whatnot and do something with what Shree has given us, but I definitely see whether it's ordering a smile, um, the way to be positive. I just want you to take that takeaway. All that she's been through, like I said, and giving hope. But she could be somewhere on drugs somewhere. She could have taken her life. She could be at a local club somewhere. But she's choosing to be on her 100th episode, still serving and being a blessing to her family. One generation, also to another generation who's graduating. That's the type of thing that impact is. That is true success. Now, all the other stuff is just a fringe benefit. But when you have the right understanding of looking out, right relationship with God, looking at the family, growing yourself, improving, the girl lifting little, semi trucks now, whatnot. She she get she up there working out. She lifting semi trucks now, so she beast mode and Beauty and the Beast. She getting it in the gym too as well. So, but we just want to tell you we thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. We got all the information in the show notes. But for those who are listening to this, remember, if you won't change, be the change. Until next time, remember that this is the year for your new book. Be blessed and be great.
Thank you.